Hey, coming at you live once again. It's Gensec versus Gensec, new versus old. It's Dan versus Theo in the 1v1 tournament. They are already in game, so we're going to go straight in, and let's see who they are playing. Okay, so that's Theo, Phaebus as Gangplank with Exhaust Ignite versus Dan, Raubahn as Ezreal with Flash Barrier. Woo! This is going to be exciting. So let's have a look at Theo first of all with his Gangplank runes. Medal of Honor is the name of this rune page, and that seems appropriate since he is playing Gangplank. That's attack damage quintessences, attack damage marks, flat armor seals, and magic resist per level glyphs. Not going to be very useful against Ezreal there with those magic resist per level glyphs, but you're not going to have a specific rune page just for that, and he doesn't know who he's going up against. Let's have a look at the masteries. Is he going offensive or is he going defensive? He's going offensive. This is the Ulfric Stormcloak page, 2190, taking all of the points in the attack damage, except for the cooldown reduction points there. Going to get that queue up a lot more often, and the usual points there in hardiness, vet scars, durability, and the point in Summoner's Resolve. That's going to give his barrier a little more juice. Let's go back and we will have a look. And he's not actually got barrier, it's Dan that's got barrier. He's got Ignite and Exhaust, so he hasn't taken that extra point in the offensive tree to improve both of those, and he's wasted a mastery point in the defensive tree there. Probably just an oversight there. Let's have a look at Dan's Ezreal runes, presumably. I think we're probably going to see something very similar, except, yep, he's got the lifesteal quintessences there, he's got attack damage marks, flat armor seals, and flat magic resist glyphs. They are going to come in handy against that Grog Soak Blade, I think. Off the top of my head, I think Grog Soak Blade is magic damage, but I could be wrong. I'm sure someone will correct me in the chat. Let's have a quick look at the masteries. We've got 20 seconds left until we join them. Pretty much the same sort of page, except we're seeing the points in attack speed rather than cooldown reduction. One would have thought for Ezreal he'd want the extra points. You can see that it is called ADC Cleanse Barrier, so he already knows that he needs that extra point in order to improve that barrier. Also, the extra damage to turrets, interesting. Is he going to use that to his advantage going for the turret kill? Don't know, it's probably just in there for that extra point. On the off chance that he does need it. Okay, so we're about to load in. As always, it'll take a couple of seconds, a minute or so to get in, and then for the stream to calm down, so I do apologise for that once again. We are going to see some skins. I know both of them own skins for this. Toy Soldier Gangplank, a very old skin that is now in the Legacy Vault against Nottingham Ezreal, another very old Ezreal skin that is in the Legacy Vault. Both of them came out recently for the Legacy sale that they had around, I can't remember when it was actually. I think it was around Christmas. Yes, it was around Christmas because it was when they first introduced gifting. So two old Legacy skins, two quite old champions, and two general secretaries. And what I mean by that, for those of you who aren't members of the Lancaster University Game Society, last year Dan Seiles was my general secretary when I was president. This year Theo is the new general secretary under Tom Bray's presidency. So new versus old, Gangplank versus Ezreal, Dan versus Theo. What's gonna happen? It could be anyone's game. As you can probably tell, I'm a little pumped up for this game. I'm really looking forward to it. This is the losers bracket, unfortunately for the two of them. So they are both fighting to stay in this tournament. So we see, unsurprisingly, Dan as Ezreal has started with the Doran's Blade. However, we have some problems here. Theo is claiming that his graphics are broken.
Welcome to
so we are unsure at this stage. Oh, he claims that it's been fixed, so they are going to go ahead. Theo opting to start with the crystalline flask, 2 health pots and 1 mana pot. That's really going to help him there. Gangplank does have some mana issues towards the start, particularly with his Q. If he is going to harass, obviously he does get the mana back on the Q. He gets half the mana back if he kills a minion with his Q. And I'll just check that Grog Soak Blade. It is magic damage on the Grog Soak Blade, so those flat magic resist glyphs are going to come in handy for Dan here. Theo saying that his problems was that his resolution changed for some odd reason. I didn't show you this last time. This is the new Teamfight UI, which for a 1v1 doesn't really help. If you're in spectator mode and you want to quickly do it, push A and it will change. It just shows you every champion at the bottom, their respective health bars, and whether their ultimate, flash, ignite, other summon spells have gone. But as I say, it's not particularly useful in a 1v1, so I'm not going to be using it. But that's the first time I've actually pushed the button and had a look at it. So, pretty cool. Okay, so the minions are about to meet, and so the game is going to begin. Kara is saying in 5v5 it's quite nice. Yeah, I can really see the benefits of it in 5v5. I'll watch some of the videos of it. It just means in a team fight it's very easy to track what's going on, but in a 1v1 you're only watching one little portion of the screen anyway, so you know what everyone's up to. So Dan opting to start with the Mystic Shot, not punishing Theo when he's coming in to get those CS. That's a CS miss for Theo there, and Theo has started with his Q, but he's conserving his mana. He is trying to get the last hits with auto attacks rather than using that ability. For the duration this game is going to go on for, the extra gold from killing a minion with the shot isn't really going to benefit him that much. He's not going to be able to get many items with that extra gold, so he's just trying to conserve mana and of course using it to harass there, as we just saw. Dan is off to a bit of an early lead in the CS race, but Theo keeping up with that, and you can already see how much mana the two of them are using up, and it's a good bit of harass from Dan there. He is only slightly ahead, and that's another Mystic Shot landed. That's very good. You can already see that Doran's Blade is really helping Dan out. He's getting his sustain up, he's keeping up, and he's now pushing up to tower. Now Gangplank doesn't have a problem farming under tower, of course. His Q is very easy to use under tower and to keep off that harass, but Theo is going to try and maintain that mana. That's popping his crystalline flask once again, and he is going pretty low, down to half health, and he is probably going to have to pop most of those, and Dan just landing in the little autos when he's not having to last hit. He's really keeping the pressure on Theo here, and he's in a very good position right now. He's slightly ahead with experience, as he did manage to hit level 4 first, but they are neck and neck on farm right now. That's another little bit of harass right there. It's an interesting matchup between these two champions. With the new Triforce, both of these champions can build particularly similarly towards the start of the match. Well, obviously with this being a 1v1 we're not going to see that much itemization being built. Theo has, if I believe now, used up all the charges on his crystalline flask, so he's got no more mana sustain. He has got one more health pot though, and he is going to keep up that harass with the parlay there. Both of them doing very well to keep up on CS. Again, Dan with a slight lead, but with only 2 CS in it, it's not really worth mentioning it. But Theo is going to lose a couple of minions to tower there as Dan manages to push it up there. I think he only lost 1 minion there, which wasn't bad. Ooh, and that's a bad miss with the parlay. Doesn't kill a minion. I think that was a bit of a misclick there, and that's going to be a bit of wasted mana that Theo's not going to be able to get back now. He's got no more pots, he's got no items. He is basically naked on the battlefield right now. That mana sustain from the parlay there isn't going to be enough to keep him up, especially if he wants to keep harassing, and Dan putting down a lot of harassment there. You can see every time that he's not CSing, he's looking to get as much down onto Theo as possible. And despite not having, he hasn't got any mana sustain at all in any of his build, but he's been very conservative. He's been getting his shots off well, and he's now forced Theo to go back. He's going to get quite a bit of damage done to the tower, and probably catch up on the CS and try and get a bit of a lead. I imagine he is probably going to go back at some point. So that's 2 Doran's Blades for Theo on Gangplank. He's got his charges back on the Crystalline Flask, and that's 2 health pots, 1 mana pot. So plenty of sustain there, though as we've already seen in that last little bit, the sustain just wasn't enough to keep him going with the mana. But the 2 Doran's Blades, they're going to help a lot with his health sustain, particularly with his Q. He's going to be able to farm up with his Q, stay away from Dan, and sustain up with the damage from his Q. Dan coming back into lane. Dan has hit level 6 first, but Theo now catching up on levels. He's also level 6. We're going to see an interesting fight if both of them break out their ultimates. It's all going to be down to whether Dan can land the ultimate on Theo, and how quickly he can jump out of Theo's ultimate if he lands it. And they're going to have a little fight here. There's the oranges. Theo getting a lot of damage down, but I think they're pretty much equal there on the amount of damage that they both got down. Dan is going to have to sustain back up using those 3 Doran's Blades that he's come back with. He doesn't have any health pots, he doesn't have a Crystalline Flask, just the 1 mana pot to help with the mana sustain there. And interestingly, he's chosen to go to boots. Just a message in, Snowman Drew has just won his game 2-1 apparently. There's the ultimate from Ezreal. He's not going to hit Gangplank with it, but he is going to try and push the minions back a little bit and relieve some of the pressure. Relieve some of the pressure, that's the word I'm looking for. And here goes Theo on the offensive once again. He's going to take a few shots from Dan there. Is just trying to apply that damage, and Dan is going to go on the offensive. There's the Ignite drop. The barrier is also dropped to counteract that. Both players, again, they're pretty much neck and neck every stage of their fight. The only thing that Dan has at the moment, he does have that CS lead. He is ahead by 12 CS right now. But, of course, Theo's advantage here, he does have the sustain from his pots. He has used all of them up, I believe. Yes, that's all the points on his Crystalline Flask, so he is. Both players now down to the sustain from the Doran's Blades, and Theo is going to have a slight disadvantage here, what with Dan having the 3 Doran's Blades to his 2. But he has got a bit more mana, and Dan's still using that. And he's going to go in on the offensive again. He knows that Dan hasn't got a lot of mana to counteract this, so he's going to try and get as much damage down to him as possible. But he is going to take a tower hit there, and Dan presumably not enough mana to go back in on the offensive with the E, unless it was on cooldown. And there's the oranges. That's a good bit of sustain there. Both of them relying on auto attacks now, as neither of them have much mana. And I think, no, Theo's not going to go back. Theo's going to stay right here. He knows that if he goes back, he's going to give a really massive lead to Dan on the CS. And there goes the ultimate once again. He's not going to hit Theo, but he is going to push the wave up to tower. And is Theo now going to have enough mana to use his Q and get some CS under the tower? Dan's going to go back. Well, I'm assuming we're going to see another Doran's Blade. And let's see what... Theo just going into the brush to be safely. Though he clearly hadn't noticed that Dan had gone back there. So a 4th Doran's Blade, and that's 4 health pots, 4 mana pots for Dan as he comes back to lane. And Theo there opting for the boots and cloth armour. No more health pots, but he has got 2 mana pots and the 3 charges of his Crystalline Flask. So we can certainly say that Dan has the most damage coming into this final stage in this 1v1. Whereas Theo does have a fair bit of sustain. And I think Theo is going to have to be looking to try and get that kill. Because at the moment, Dan is ahead on CS. He's 20 CS ahead. He's got some damage down on the tower. So all he needs to do is play safe. And this is going to be difficult for Theo here, because obviously any engage that he tries to do, Dan's going to try and attack him back, or he's just going to blink away with the E. And I think we're going to see that now. Yep. And Dan did manage to get quite a bit of damage down onto Theo there. Theo really just got the one Q off, and Dan's already sustained that back up, and he's going to keep bullying him out. He's going to try and bully him away from the minions. Now, again, Theo is going to have to try and CS under tower whilst taking that flak from Dan, and this gives Dan a perfect opportunity to just fire away at the tower. He's keeping his options open. He's going to have two different ways he can win this if he really wants to. The only way Theo right now is going to be able to stop him is if he kills him, and it doesn't look like at this stage that is going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. Make some more damage, and Theo's going in on the offensive. He's got in there, the exhaust is dropped, there's the flash, and there's the ult. It's going to keep him in there, but it's not going to be enough to give him enough damage. Theo's going to stick around, he's going to take a couple of tower shots. Dropped relatively low, but Dan is in not much of a position to go on the counter-offensive. A lot of damage done there, but now Dan's just going to sustain it all up with his 4 Doran's Blade. He's got the pots, he's got the mana pots as well. Theo does have some of the sustain. He has used all of his crystalline flasks up. He's going to go in on the offensive once again. He's getting really desperate now, as Dan only needs 5 CS left to win this game. If he can get most of the CS on this last wave.
A summoner has disconnected.
They've already decided. I think Theo there he knows that he can't win, as Dan only needs that 5 CS. So that's a CS victory there for Dan in the first game. So 1-0 to Raubahn as Ezreal, and that's a loss for Theo as Gangplank. So we will leave this, we will rejoin the client, and hopefully get into the next game pretty quickly. I would respond to some of your comments right now, but yeah, there aren't really any. Just curious. So I hope you enjoying it. I hope the sound's better this time. I know I've had some problems with sound on some of my previous ones, but I'm trying to keep up to date with it. So I'll just quit that out and see where they are currently. They're currently in Champion Select, so we should be able to join them very, very soon. Sorreless Joe, how unsportsmanlike. And Kara's saying that it sounds perfect. Thank you very much. As I say, I'm trying to keep on top of it this time. I just keep having to go back into the volume controls because it seems to reset every time. A message from Screaming Eagle. Sound is all fine so far. Good. That's because I'm keeping on top of it this time and keeping an eye on it. Haha, no fighting to the death from Kara's. Nope, they're not going to fight to the death. I think that's understandable. It was very obvious there that Dan was just going to win with the CS. And I would not be surprised if Theo bans Ezreal this time. It was a pretty difficult matchup for him. So they are in game right now, so we can join them in the Champion Select lobby. Very different set of champions this time. Dan Raubahn has gone for Kennen Flash Barrier once again, and Theo Phaebus has gone for Draven with the Barrier Ignite. So a very different set of champions, though Dan still opts in for the easy escape. Obviously Ezreal's got his blink, Kennen has got his E. I think it's probably safe to assume that Dan is going to be going AZ Kennen, as it does tend to be stronger in these 1v1s. I don't know if you've seen Kennen yet in this tournament. He was very popular in the the Magma Chamber tournaments that were done at one of the LCSs, the All-Star tournament, as he does tend to be really, really strong. I will just quickly consult the tournament list so far. A message from Jade, say hi to my mum because I'm on the tally. Hi Jade's mum. I'm assuming that's what I was supposed to do there. So yeah, AD top for Dan. He hasn't got the lifesteal that he had in his last set of runes, opting for all of the attack damage both on the marks and the quintessences. There's the armor seals and magic resist per level glyphs this time rather than the flat magic resist that he used last time. Interesting that he's not going for the lifesteal again. Maybe he's going for he's going to try and get a victory with first blood rather than the CS victory. It's very obvious there that very early on that he was going to get the CS victory. As he did get a lead and he was able to harass Gangplank down so that he couldn't get any of that CS back himself. The exact same mastery page as last time, as we could probably predict. We're probably going to see a bit of a different Runa mastery page on Draven here. Deep Purple is the name of this page. That's attack damage glyphs, lifesteal quintessences, flat armor seals, and magic resist per level glyph. So he's actually using the exact same rune page that Dan used last game. So he's going to have the extra sustain, but Kennen is going to have the extra damage. Smoke on your screen is the name of his mastery page. 18.012. Not opting for any of the defensives. He's going to keep up his mana regen there. His summoner spells are going to be on cooldown. He's going to get more lifesteal, so he's really going for the same. Does get that biscuit, but doesn't have the last few points in the armor pen and the executioner there. Interesting though, he hasn't taken the points off frenzy or lethality, which isn't useful in a 1v1 unless he does have a cheeky crit rune, which he doesn't. Even then, with a cheeky crit rune, it's not a very big percentage chance that you're going to get that crit off. So, a very interesting rune page there. He's not going to have any defensive, so if Dan does go on the offensive, he's really going to take it hard. But clearly, with the lifesteal quintessences there, and the lifesteal quintessences and the extra points in the utility tree in lifesteal, he's going to be looking to sustain this up. And Draven is very good with sustain. I know in ARAM quite often all we tend to do is build nothing but lifesteal on him because he has so much damage that he can just lifesteal everything back up, what with those Qs. So turn the volume down there and we should be good to go. Let's have a look at some comments while we wait. Jardinite, way! I'm assuming that's in response to me saying hi to her mum. And she's also said, I've been watching these just on the client, but decided it would be better with Nick's commentary. No, so far, so good. Thank you very much, Jade. That's much appreciated. And she's now famous. Woohoo! Also talking about Draven versus Kennen, that's all mans. I don't know, Kennen does have a bit of a wussy escape. I'm not sure if you can call that manly. Unless he uses it as an engage. Now that is a manly thing to do. And Kara's saying Kennen is a mouse, not a man. That's true. I think he's more of a hamster. Well, he's a yordle, so he's sort of hamster mouse sort of thing. I don't know. Right, so we join them in game. We can see straight away Theo going for that Doran's Blade and Dan doing exactly the same, but Theo is going to have that biscuit. That biscuit's going to give him a little bit of mana sustain, a little bit of extra health sustain. The chat there, well, a word, I'm not going to repeat. I'm not going to repeat it because on my screen it's up in little stars. Hate laning versus Draven, that comes from Dan, and Theo's response, your fault, you said no ham. Nope, no ham from this time. I think it's probably safe to say that Theo is going to be staying back, he's going to sustain up, and he's going to try and go for a CS victory. But it'd be interesting if he can get some damage down. If the two of them have a fight and neither of them come out of it with first blood, then Theo is going to very easily sustain himself back up, and maybe whittle Dan down a bit. But Dan is going to have a lot of early game burst, a lot of early game damage, and if you can get that stun off with the triple mark, then he is going to be able to get a lot of damage down onto Theo. This is going to be a very interesting game. No idea which way it's going to go. Dan there saying, you said you weren't doing the ham plan hours ago, man. You were too French. And so Theo has said he's going to report him. It is true, Theo is French, and we do hold it over him. But there's no room for it on the fields of justice where 1v1s are involved. No race, no nationality, just two champions, two summoners, and me, spectating it and telling you all about it. The minions are together, the game begins, and that's straight away Theo getting the Q off on Dan there, getting that CS, and he's going to start stacking that adoration. That's already, that should be three adoration stacks already for catching those axes. If you haven't kept up with Draven recently, he did have a change in the last patch. That's 2 spinning axes up there already, and he is going to start pushing slightly against, as the minion waves are pushing up against him. If you haven't been keeping up with Draven, he did have his passive change. He used to have the bleed, which did extra damage over time, a little like Grogsoak Blade, a little, but they changed that as they felt he was just too powerful, and they didn't want to change any of his other abilities because they really enjoyed where they were. Dan pushing again, as we saw in the last game, pushing him up to tower. He's going to try and stop him from getting that CS. But Draven, particularly with the Q, getting that extra damage on each of his auto attacks, it's not difficult for him to take minions on the tower. But he has missed a couple there. Yes, he did. And he's Dan managing to electric ball away, but Theo is still going to get the Q on him. But at this stage, both of them taking a bit of damage, but they're both going to sustain that thanks to their Doran's Blades, and you can already see the sustain that Theo's getting from the extra lifesteal in his runes and Masters. Yes, they did change Draven's passive, so every time he catches an axe, or every time he gets a kill or assist, he gains adoration, and then he gains bonus gold when he dies. No, he doesn't gain bonus gold when he dies. He gains bonus gold when he kills enemy, I think. I'm now confused. I don't care. We don't care. It doesn't really matter for this game. Both of them, Theo really keeping the damage onto Dan there, and he's doing very well catching pretty much nearly every axe that he's throwing. And you can already see Dan is down to 2/3 of his health. And Theo has taken a little bit of a beating in response. Gains bonus gold per champion kill. Yeah, I was going to say gains bonus gold when he dies, but then I realised no, he loses stacks of adoration when he dies. And that's another axe hit. Dan really struggling to maintain his health here. He's not able to get in and CS either, because every time he does, Theo's just... And I think what we're seeing straight away is a complete role reversal. Theo is doing the exact same thing to Dan that Dan did to him in last game, and it's already working out for him. They are equal on CS, but Christ, Theo is able to get a lot of damage down onto Dan, and given... If he had Flash, I think we might have seen First Blood there. He would have taken some tower hits for going in, but Flash, Ignite, and getting another Q or two off, and I think Dan would have dropped. So Dan in a bit of a risky situation here. He can't go all in on him, and he is having to be careful, but Theo is really punishing him this time. And that's 2 spinning axes, he's keeping those very well. And there's that's a very good combination. The Flash, no Flash was used there, no Summon Spells used at all. And again, it makes you wonder if Theo had taken Flash, if Theo had put the Ignite down, would he have got First Blood? I think he probably would have done, and he's forced Dan to go back. So Dan picking up the second Doran's Blade and some health pots. Obviously, he doesn't need mana pots as Kennen is an energy-based champion. So he's going to have quite a bit of sustain with those 5 mana, with those 5 health pots, and he desperately needs it at this stage as he's not able to sustain from his Doran's Blades. But we can already see Theo is straight back up to full health, and even his mana hasn't really taken much of a dent. All he's been doing is hitting with those axes, and he's been keeping those axes spinning. That's why he hasn't used up much of his mana, because he's keeping those axes spinning, he's catching them every time, and that's keeping his mana in a very healthy state, which he knows he's going to need to, considering he's up against an enemy champ this time. Straight away, even though Dan's back, he's got more items, he's got a little more health from those Doran's Blades. Theo's going to keep up the damage, he's going to keep up the punishment. He is going to choose to go back now, and I think we can probably assume he's going to come back with at least one more Doran's Blade. There goes the ultimate. He's going to use that to push the minions back. He's going to get a couple of CS there, and he did manage to hit down on the first hit. Obviously, that's going to help. That's going to reset the lane. That was a very good choice to use the ultimate there. Also giving him that little bit of extra gold from the CS to grab that extra health pot and mana pot. I believe that's 2 health pots that he's got there. Just click on Draven. There we go. That's 3 health pots. 3 health pots, 1 mana pot. Not that he really needs the mana pot at this stage, but maybe with that extra mana pot he's going to go in a little more ham. Again, doing very well to keep up the axes. So he's not having to use his mana. And there's the Kennen ultimate. The barrier also dropped. He does get the stun, but Theo's going to go straight back in. He knows that that Dan's cooldowns are down, and there is Flash burnt as well. So all Summoner Spells have now been used. All in that fight as well. But the ultimate went off there for Dan. He did get the stun off, but already, he didn't get a lot of damage onto Draven, and Theo is able to sustain it back up so quickly thanks to his choices of runes and masteries. But interestingly, he's not taken anything in the defensive tree, but he's just not taking any damage thanks to that sustain, and possibly due to the fact that he's got 3 Dorans over Dan's 2. Again, doing very well to keep those axes flying. He's got 2 axes on the go. He's going to go in on the offensive once again, but Dan's going to get the stun off, and that's going to shut down that offensive attack right there. Still throughout that, still manages to get 1 axe off, and there's the E, but he's going to miss that. He's not going to be able to make the race, so he's going to go in on the offensive once again, landing another axe, and he's now got 2 spinning axes going. He is dropping low on mana. He has had to use that mana pot, but he should, once the mana pot run out, so he's not going to be able to keep going on these offenses. But again, look at Dan's health. Dan's just not able to sustain up. And Theo has used this to advantage. He is now very ahead on CS, 62 to Dan's 47. That's a lot of damage being done to the tower though. He's making the most of those 3 Doran Blades advantage that he's got. Still keeping the axes going, still keeping that mana sustain up. Dan in real trouble. As I've said, this is pretty much the exact reverse of what we saw last game. Theo is able to keep a lot of damage down onto Dan, and Dan's just not able to sustain it up with those 2 Dorans.
Why, thank you.
The damage there. Catching my breath a little bit, for it is difficult to talk for so long. It's another axe throw, and now Theo has done exactly where he wants him. He's going to have to try and farm on the turret, which he's been struggling with already. Theo's got 2 axes up. He's going to keep on getting that CS. He's going to push up the tower, and at the moment, this could go any way. Theo is much further ahead on CS. He's also got the tower down to a 3rd health, and Dan is not looking very good. I think it's very likely at this point, unless something goes drastically wrong, that Theo is going to win this. The question now is how he's going to do it, and Dan's going to go in, he's going to drop the ultimate, he's going to get the stun up, and Theo is going to finish him off with the ultimate. Very quick reactions from Theo there. I think we all